episode 3 of the His Views podcast, and I am joined by my man Tristan, formerly known as Tristan Means. For y'all that don't know, Tristan Means gave me my my entry into the wedding business, really into the whole business. I learned a lot from you, but the wedding photography and videography business is kind of like the first entity the first opportunity that you gave me. Tristan is very, very talented, and he's very humble about it. I see a lot of his work that he's done in the past being mimicked today. Now, I don't know if it's because they've seen his work and they're trying to do it or whatever, but if I seen it today, I already saw it with Tristan, and I wanted to have him on here today because he is a very intelligent individual, very business-minded and oriented, and one of the dopest artists I know. So, yeah, man, how you doing?
You know me, I'm making it look good, man.
That's
but
a loaded question, right?
I'm making it look good, but I appreciate it, man. And it was a wonderful introduction. Try to keep my eye contact up. This is my first.
Oh man, this is just a conversation, bro.
Podcast, so yeah.
This is just a conversation. So for people that don't know you, where do you come from, and how did you get into this industry?
Well, I consider myself a country boy. I'm from Eastern North Carolina, a place that is called Windsor, North Carolina. It's nothing but Jesus deer is in the fields there. And I want to say just migrating to Greensboro, North Carolina. I did undergrad at North Carolina A&T, met some great people, and had a strong network of art people that was involved in just photography, videography. And I just stumbled upon just helping my then mentor out, Jelani. Shout out to Jelani. And ever since then, I feel as though photography has been at least 75% of who I was, but also of who I am today. And it's created its own just identity in myself, and so I appreciate that.
And how did you before you found? Tell me how you found how you even came across being a photographer, and when you found it, what did it do for you?
Well, I would say my mother, with her being the nurturing figure she was, when I was younger, I would always go in her closets and just be skeptical about life, and I would stumble upon her expensive camera. It was a Canon at the time, and I would play around with it and also get fussed out for playing with an expensive camera. And so as the years transpired, I was just super photogenic, had a lot of self-esteem and self-confidence, and taking pictures of myself. So when I got to college, I seen a photographer and just stumbled upon it and just gave him some assistance working with models. And I was very comfortable with women, but also respected women, and just gave them a few pointers on how they should pose, and also just to kind of relax them. And
so it came natural to you.
It came natural.
It came natural to you. And before we tap into that, to the whole modeling, the models, you working with the models, because your photography with these models was very, when I first saw it, it was intimidating but inspiring. That's how good it was to me, in my opinion.
Thank you.
But before we tap into that, how did you get into the wedding industry? Did you decide to do it because of the money, because it is great money, or you actually had a passion for it?
Honestly, through family members. Someone gave me a call from an individual through another individual, word of mouth, and so I basically consulted with them and just gave them a price. And in the beginning stages, just to be honest, I touched a lot of I want to say just finances in this industry, but what I took from it the most of progressing was the social structure with it, and just with different culture of people, and just really enjoying the human experience and what photography and videography introduced me to.
And that's what you tapped into right there. That is what lured you into the industry itself, is connecting with other people.
Indeed, because I'm a cordial individual, and also I noticed once I got deeper into the industry, I had a duty to fulfill, and that's to really contribute to the photography and the videography community. And I just felt as though I wanted to be honest with it, and that's what it transpired to be. And so, I took my time and just, scrapped all the plagiarism work and just put my actual natural work and just really started to accept, just to be myself. And it really gravitated more people towards me, and I just noticed it was way bigger than the money, because I was really creating some type of heritage with these photos, so people can look at 20 years from now and be like, wow, you know what, this is heritage. I can show the next generation and next generation on that, and so forth. And so, I had a duty that I had to fulfill. I don't consider this like, my purpose in life. I consider it like a strong passion that, it just comes natural, like playing the Xbox or playing the PlayStation. I'm really having fun with it, but also I'm really touching lives to the point where it can translate into something way bigger than, I want to say, people in general that's in existence now.
So did you, after moving over after you tapped into photography, when did the videography stuff start?
Let's see, the videography started when I would look online, Tumblr,
I remember
Facebook.
Tumblr.
Yes, I was really heavy on that.
I was using Tumblr for different reasons back then, but
Indeed, man, indeed, it's just a whole jungle within itself up there. And just the music, I felt as though combining music and pictures together, it was just something that would just illuminate things to a whole nother level. And I was like, wow, I'm just so compelled to get myself involved in videography, because then I would just develop this type of eye where, I need to be involved in like moving pictures. And so that's what introduced me into that. And I want to say practice makes permanent, and it just evolved naturally.
So I know, because I've been doing it for 4 years. That's when I met you. I met you my first or second year.
It could have been like your late first.
And maybe a year or two after that, you started to not create content anymore and not, take on as many projects anymore. What made you, so to speak, because I saw you were in love with it, and then I saw a shift that you were just like, I don't love it anymore. It doesn't do what it used to do. And I remember you talking about it, but I don't really think we ever tapped into it. So what made you go from loving it to just not even doing it anymore?
Honestly, I really had to digress just from that. My passion of like just photography and videography, because just like any natural human being, I was growing as a young adult, and I was also juggling with life, dealing with some past childhood trauma just with my immediate family household, and also catering to a relationship, and also trying to find what type of direction I want to go in, and just juggling everything. It's just like,
You could say, so basically you could say a state of depression.
Basically, I would say that a state of depression.
Which is something that a lot of people don't talk about, but a lot of people deal with. And I see a lot of relation between depression and content creation, because that's why I started doing it. Because being a depressed person and having triggers to the trauma, you look for outlets. So my outlet was fitness, right? And then through fitness, I picked up a camera, started doing stuff on YouTube with fitness. That quickly disappeared, and then I started doing the whole content creation thing. So my question is, you feeling that way, was photography and videography just not doing it for you anymore?
It was doing it for me. It was just adapting to a whole new environment, because I moved here to Charlotte in 2016, and in 2017, my now ex, basically, we cohabitated, or cohabitation, I gotta use right grammar. And so after that, it was just a whole new experience of like something being involved in like common law marriage, and just really trying to cater to that, be the best partner I can be with that. But you know what I had to do is I actually had to hold myself accountable and just really do some self work. It's just like, you know, I would rush to social media and just look for certain outlets to kind of like, I want to say, go through therapy with it, which I know that was like really not healthy, because there are some healthy sources online and ethical sources, but there are also some biased sources where it can be just one-sided, where you're favored to, and it's like, you know,
social media can be a motherfucker. Social media, a lot of people don't know, but social media, it's not my favorite thing in the world. It's a tool, right?
Yeah, it's the emotional capital. People upload their opinions and their feelings and just their subjective way of life, and also objective, but at the same time, that wasn't the best outlet for me to go to, and so just pretty much compounding on some more depression. And so I just really lost focus and lost touch of a lot of things, and also I had a lot of fallout with just friends, and also fallout just with the whole photography and videography community, because I was being introduced to these people from the community, and I was like, wow, I'm just really starting to be anti towards it, because it's just bringing just, you know, just more issues and more problems into my life. It's like I have to bear up the burden of other people, not just my own. And so, you know, I just held myself accountable to, you know, revisit my parent, and, you know, just to kind of really fix that internal like trauma. And, you know, I noticed that, you know, they're going to live in their own denial and also process it the way they want to process it. And it's like, I can't fix that. And, you know, I just really had to leave that alone. But out of it all, I did find peace of mind, because a lot of people leave this life without finding peace of mind just with themselves. And, you know, I don't want to live in misery. And so I feel as though in the beginning of my photography, and also just throughout the whole career, I was shooting based off of my pride as a man, just try, because I have a challenge as being man, just pretty much being a man, being black, and having feelings. I'm at war with all three of those, and I pretty much, you know, just had a nervous breakdown, and just kind of like, you know what, I just got away from it. That's why I pretty much shut all social media down.
And the thing is, a lot of people don't comprehend that a good photographer or a good videographer is a good artist. He or she is just using the camera as a tool to express that artistry, correct?
Yeah, it's just like a language itself. It's like, you know,
and if you're not good inside, or if you're not good up here at that particular moment, it's not going to it's going to translate in your work, either good or bad, or you're just not going to be motivated to do any of it.
Exactly. And you're going to, like, you know, you're really going to exploit people and exploit things from an ethical place. And, you know, you really can't network as in a fashionable way as you would, open more opportunities. You'll pretty much get drama started, and then, you know, it'll be rumors and he say, she say. And, you know, I just really wanted to not be selfish about it and exploit people like anymore, because it was like, you know, I'll do work for you, you do work for me. But I noticed it got to a point where I was really passive aggressive with it, and I was like, you know what, this is not healthy. I'm dealing with a lot, and, you know, I just really have to really do the work. It's just like learning algebra, learning calculus. You hear about it, but a lot of people stay away from that type of math. And so I had to really, like, you know, go home and actually, like, go in the classroom and do the work, and on my leisure time do the work and the self-development with myself to really get me here. So I'm excited about just the future, and when I actually enter back in the stage of like photography and videography, because I'm at peace with my mind. I'm not holding on to any.
I see a big difference.
Yeah, I'm not
in your physical appearance, in the way you talk, and just saying that you want to go back to creating content is a lot. So now, if you can just explain before we close off, if you can just explain to people where you're at now mentally, physically, and what your immediate future plans are, and what's the plan?
Well,
basically?
Let's see. Never how you plan. The unexpected is the expected. I plan to just handle business on the West Coast in the Pacific time zone.
San Fran.
San Fran, the Bay Area,
Okay.
just to travel over there, just to continue to reinvent myself. And now I'm not holding on to any guilt, because I was holding on to guilt for roughly 17 years. I didn't seek therapy or anything because I was just like, my IQ was just so high, but my EQ was just so low. And therefore, I allow, people to, really abuse me to get that acceptance and validation without questioning it, because I would see like a red flag, 2 red flags, 3 red flags, and before you know it, you got a whole Chinese parade going on. And I learned to like really step up for myself and set boundaries, because if you don't set boundaries, people are going to take advantage of you, and then therefore they're going to lose respect for you. And once that respect is gone, it's like, how can you really get it back? And that's the tough thing about it. And so you have to hold yourself accountable to like set boundaries. Even if you do lose that person momentarily, it's just like, talking to a female, or like just talking to the opposite sex, or talking to like your preference person you want to get with. Like, okay, if you're busy right now and occupied with your life, well, we can't talk. You know what? I can't give you my time. I just want to be more than friends. If you don't want to be, if you don't want to be more than friends, we can't talk. So a month, 3 months go by. That person you was interested in.
You basically looking at everything like a business transaction now. And I feel like you have to.
Yeah, it is a business transaction, but you also really have to communicate, because a lot of people miscommunicate on things and pass off judgment based on that when they're not. If they don't have the ability, they may have the inability not to express fully because they don't want to hurt people's feelings. But when you're dealing in any type of industry, even if it hurts people's feelings, you have to be just authentic but very transparent, because that's where things go wrong when miscommunication is exercised. When you know the location is west but you want to go east. So who's going to hold themselves accountable? Nobody wants to hold themselves accountable then, but it's all about communication.
Word. A lot of people, like I mentioned before, a lot of people don't understand. They don't even know our relationship. We're kind of like brothers with a business relationship, but more on a personal level. And you were one of my first mentors. So hearing all of this, it's very heartfelt as a friend and as somebody who cares for you. So I appreciate you being so honest. I wanted to ask you if you could, for all the other content creators listening or just people in general, if there was one thing that you could change about the way you did things, what would it be? What's a piece of advice you would give somebody like me or somebody who's maybe getting into the game, so to speak?
Let's see. Honestly, me personally, I wouldn't change anything, because the experience itself made me who I was and also who I am. And I just hold myself accountable just moving forth with it, because without this experience, I can't be honest or give any type of like better mentorship or guidance to an individual. And I accept the consequences of what I went through and stood by and what I exercised, and so it just makes me a better human being at the end of the day. I'm no saint, but moving forward, I stand by of just doing things more ethical and just making the whole community just more healthier, and just exercising a lot more humility. And just if you're a content creator, just know just to really exercise humility, because you have like the youth that's growing up, and a lot of people didn't have that guidance as a youth, and they look at social media now versus like back then. They allowed themselves subconsciously to grow up on music. So just be cautious of what you're putting out there, and just don't do it for the money, but do it for just the social commentary of humility.
Hell yeah. I like what you said, that you wouldn't take anything back, because the life experiences is actually, it's either what builds you or what breaks you, right?
Most definitely. And I don't want to live in denial, because if you're living in denial, you're living in a facade. You're putting a mask over your face. But they're also in spaces where you want to exercise to know when to say and what not to say at the right timing. And so that's only just advice I have to give.
Preach. Well, we're gonna wrap it up, man. I appreciate your time.
Most definitely, bro.
And yeah, man, I'm gonna actually roll up Tristan's work throughout this whole video. If you watched up until now, his work is very inspiring. It's inspired me. It's some of the best work I've seen to date, and he's still very humble about it. So I appreciate all of your wisdom.
Most definitely,
I'm gonna miss
man.
you when you leave, man.
Hey, I'll still be here, man. It'll be temporary. I just need to get out the South.
I feel
just
that.
to embellish my journey, because it's just like starting a business. And my 4 steps of starting a business is establishment, an audience, and then expansion, and then the 4th one is refinement. And so right now I'm just refining. I'm just refining the wine.
I was just saying that to my first guest, Uncle Jet. I was just telling him how traveling keeps me, it recharges my batteries. Like being in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Not that I'm talking any shit about Charlotte, but being in Charlotte, it's very limited.
It's the South.
And also we're in the South. So, but I feel like when I go to places like New York or California or Florida, it kind of recharges my creativity juices, and I come back with more tools.
As you should, man. The more you travel, the less you wait. I'll tell anyone that. I feel as though me personally, my purpose in life, I don't associate it with the job or, how much money I bring in, because those are all man-made. My purpose in life is to see the world before I die, because a lot of people, they don't even leave 400 miles from their like hometown or where they're born at.
That used to be me.
Yeah, and so, I just feel as though that's my purpose, is to see the world before I die. And that's just through the language, through sign languages, and just to like appreciate, what we're seeing through our pupils right now. Like,
yeah, I feel that. Thank you, mi hermano.
Most definitely, man.
Much love.
Todo bien.
And this was episode 3 of the His Views podcast. Thank you to Bocal Sushi. What you think of the spot, bro?
Man, undoubtedly beautiful place. It's a very mature scenery.
We're gonna
not a $5 joint.
Yeah, no, definitely ain't no $5 joint. But we're working on getting some sushi for the podcast. You know what I'm saying? Got Carlos over there watching.
Hey, bien comido.
But yeah, man, this is one of the dopest spots, and I'm not just saying that because I'm here. Bocal Sushi has brought a lot of great things to Charlotte that you really only see in New York or Miami and California. So I appreciate being here. It's a dope venue, and I hope I can keep doing these things here for a long time. But I appreciate you, man.
Most definitely. I'm a fan of you in the audience, just looking like, wow.
Muchas gracias.
Most definitely, man. Very inspirational.
Dope. Awesome, bro. Thank you, man.
Indeed.
Sweet.